Happy Monday, everybody. It's Peter and Sal here from Strong Healthy Women. And we are here with Talking Wellbeing TV, where we share hints, tips and advice about the foundations of wellbeing, which are move, eat, live. And we've got a really interesting topic for you today, which is why New Year's resolutions do not work. Have you ever done a New Year's resolution, Sal?
I've probably done 50 of them. 49
Really?
of them I've done.
I've never really been someone who's actually got involved in New Year's resolutions. When it was in the day, when I would do New Year's parties and, stay up overnight time and see the new year in and all that type of stuff, I was probably too drunk to be making resolutions. So, and now that I don't drink anymore, I like to go to bed and have my sleep instead. So New Year's resolutions are not a bet for me. I wanted to talk about some of the New Year's resolutions that get made and what the sequence is, like what the order is, what's the most common thing. So here's the first one. I want to eat healthier. Second one, I want to get exercising. Third one, I want to lose weight. Fourth one, I want to save money. Fifth one, I want to learn something new. Sixth one, I'm going to quit something. And seventh one is I need more me time. Mm-hmm. All about well-being.
Yes.
Except for the money thing. Money thing.
Yeah.
Although the money thing could help with the well-being thing as well too. So they're sort of like interwoven as such. So do you want to kickstart us? What is it that you think why New Year's resolutions don't work, other than the fact that people are usually drunk when they make them?
Probably that fact that they're drunk when they make them and they don't remember them the next day. I think probably the number one thing is accountability. You're not accountable to anybody. You're just accountable to yourself. So if you fail, you fail. It doesn't matter. If you haven't put it out there, no one knows that you're doing it.
Yeah.
So it could be a little New Year's resolution that you've set in your mind, right, this year, this is what I'm going to do. But because it's not out there and you've not told anybody, you're not accountable to anybody.
Yeah, that's part of it, isn't it? Being accountable. So actually putting it out there for the world to actually know that that's what's happening. That's what you're committing to. The other aspect of it, Sal, which leads quite nicely into that, is the fact that when you write it down, you're 42% more likely to achieve it as well too, because a lot of the times when we do New Year's resolutions or any type of goal setting for that matter, we might just put it in our head, as you said. And so we're not giving ourselves the best opportunity. We give ourselves a much better opportunity, 42% more likely, when we write it down. Yeah. So, I mean, that's good odds by taking a few minutes to actually write down, this is what I'm going to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another one I think is fear too. Sorry, I just wanted to say.
No, go
on. I think fear is one of them too, that we're scared of what our life will look like if we do achieve our New Year's resolution. So if it is weight loss or if it is starting at the gym, it doesn't matter what it is, I suppose. What's our life going to be like?
Well, but then there's two parts to that, isn't it? It's the fear of starting, the fear of unknown, and the fear of what life will mean to us totally if we do achieve whatever it is that we said we're going to achieve. The other interesting thing is that most people set the same resolution at least 10 times over. So good news, if you're on your 11th time of setting a New Year's resolution, you might just get it this time. So ever the optimist, aren't I? Yeah, ever the optimist.
That comes back to our staying positive from last Friday.
It does. Yeah, it does. And then in regards to weight, only 5% of us, when we lose a certain amount of weight, keep that weight off, most of us. So 95% put the weight back on, and generally plus then some. So, when it comes to this dieting caper or losing weight stuff, it really is about looking at it from a healthy lifestyle. What is it that I'm going to be able to stick with in the long term? So it's not just some latest thing that's going around that gets you results now. It's something that is going to stay with you forever, type of thing. So, and that's where, looking at eating from a whole food, real food perspective is a much better option than going on whatever latest craze is all about as well too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that and other really interesting stat that makes me sad, really, after someone's had a heart attack or some type of heart condition, only 14% of them stick with their healthy lifestyle. So, something as serious as having a heart attack and the effect on your health, if only 14% stick with that change in their life, then that tells you that we need to do a lot of soul searching, a lot of digging deep into it to be able to stick with some type of change or some type of resolution or some type of goal that we want to reach as well too.
Yeah. And I've
Yeah.
been through this
Do you have anything else?
I've been through that firsthand, and
Mm-hmm.
I am a big believer, always have been, and I am not embarrassed to put it out there, but I'm a big believer that, there's two camps. There's after a major, life-changing heart problem, whether that be a stroke or a heart attack or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
you have the two camps,
Yeah.
and it's those people that sit and wait to go,
Mm-hmm.
or those that decide, what, that's not the way I want to live my life. That has scared me, and this is what I'm going to do about it. And I'm
going to change something.
Serious. Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
And you
I remember
knew my dad personally, and he was very much in the, I'm going to sit and wait.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't prepared to make any changes. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people like that as well too, and that's okay, because it's always your personal choice what it is that you decide. So remember last year that we went and we did some training at one of the church halls for some of the ladies' fellowship groups, and so it was gentle exercises that we did with them, and we were teaching them different things about how they can make these small changes in their lives. And what absolutely totally thrilled me at the end of it was that one of the ladies, who was in her 90s, came up and actually asked me all these questions about, well, I've changed this and I've done this and I've done that, and and so we went through some of the things, and my mother was waiting for me, because she happened to go to that church as well too. And she said, what was she asking? And I've gone, oh, she just wanted to know about this. And she's gone, she's 90. Why would she even be bothered doing that? And I've gone, well, she wants to, prolong her life.
Yeah.
And she wants to be healthier. So, there's the classic, one person who is prepared to make changes and another person who isn't prepared to make changes. And as I said, that's okay. It is totally a personal choice. But here's the top 5 fitness reasons. So I want to run through those as well too, because they're really interesting. The first one is, I want to lose X amount of kilos. We could have guessed that without actually even looking at the research. Yeah. The next one, number 2, is an interesting one. It's one that's really important to me, but it was interesting that it came in at position number 2, and that is mobility. I want to stay mobile. I want to be flexible. So that was interesting that that's number 2, isn't it?
Yes, that is interesting.
Number 3 is what we were just talking about. I've got an event to go to.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Or there's been something happen in my life that's forced me into making some type of change.
Yeah.
So, you know, I might have a wedding to go to, or, you know, I've recently got some bad diagnosis from the doctors. So therefore, there's this thing around it. So I'm working towards it. The next one is I want to lose my belly fat.
Yeah.
Girls,
I'd be
look,
disappointed if that wasn't on the list.
yeah, I would have been disappointed if that wasn't on the list. Well, I wasn't really disappointed, but here's the thing. How many of us are really seriously going to put in the work and the effort that's required to get those gorgeous little six-pack abs that we see on the lovely little fitness models? Probably not too many of us,
Yeah.
particularly when we get to that, you know, that 45 and beyond. You know, we just want to be, we want to be healthy. Yeah, we want to
Yeah.
lose a little bit of belly fat and everything like that. But I don't think that we're all totally committed to that, really doing what it takes. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
True. True.
Mm,
A lot of people
mm,
think that abs are made with exercise, but I read this wonderful quote
mm,
the other day and it said abs are made in the kitchen.
mm. They are. But you know what? There's also more factors than even the kitchen, isn't there?
Yeah.
So it's the exercise, it's what we eat, but it's also the sleep that we get, and it's also the stress that we have in our life. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And it's also the amount of sitting that we do and the water that we're drinking as well too. So there's lots of factors, and it does come down to that metabolic um, rate and what's happening in our body, which is, you know, ladies, put this on your list of things to be aware of. We are doing our metabolic jumpstart challenge in January, second week in January. So, you know, make sure that you are staying tuned because we're going to be releasing that soon. Totally free 5-day challenge. And we know that there are ladies who have got great success in just simply
Yeah.
doing those 5 days with us and, you know, just adjusting maybe one or two things in their life.
Yeah.
And number 5, you want to know what number 5 is? Get my
Yes.
hand in the
Drum
screen.
roll.
Drum roll. It is, I don't want to be like my mother. It's not that you don't want to be like your mother, but I think it's that I don't want to have the same health issues as my mother. But the research says I don't want to be like my mother. But yeah, I would dare say it's like I don't want to have the same health issues as my mother. I know I don't want to have the same health issues, and I know that we've heard that from many of our ladies as well too. All right, so what do you suggest then, Sal, if New Year's resolutions don't work? What is the best course of action?
The best course of action, I did a little bit of research on this, and the best course of action is to figure out what is in your way of believing in yourself. What are your
Right, interesting.
obstacles? Yes, it was quite
Mm,
interesting. So it all comes down to your mindset. And we were talking about this before with the 3 things that they said. You are
mm-hmm.
truly worthy of it. So believing that you
Yes.
are truly worthy of reaching your New Year's resolution. Number 2 was
Mm-hmm.
that you actually deserve it.
Yep.
So you do deserve to be healthier. You do deserve to be fitter, lose weight, whatever that may be. And number
Mm-hmm.
3
Mm-hmm.
was being able to handle and this was an interesting one, being able to handle other people's reactions when you finally achieve what you
Oh
set out
yeah.
to do. Yeah. And
Mm,
I
mm,
know this from personal experience when after I had Olivia and I lost all that weight and the different
mm-hmm.
comments you get. Gee, you look gaunt. Gee, you've lost too much weight. Gee, you exercise too
Yeah,
much. Gee, you go to the gym too
you're
much.
drawn in the face.
Yes, you've got things to do at home. Why are you at the gym? Why are you walking all the time? Why are you doing this? Why are you bringing that food to the barbecue? So it's writing down and figuring it out and believing that those comments don't matter. figuring out how you're going to handle those comments or those reactions from the people around you. And just believing that you're worthy of achieving your New Year's resolution, whatever that may be.
Yeah, look, and that's a big topic, because if you think about it, it's about those inner beliefs that we have about ourselves, and generally, as a rule, it is something that's happened to us, way back when in our childhood at some point. Even though we may have had this absolutely idyllic childhood and, on the surface it all looks fantastic, there could have been this constant thing that we heard from our parents, or from our siblings, or from our friends, and that constant thing that we heard, it's just been whittling away and whittling away, and it's become ingrained in who we think we are. We think that we're not worthy of something, or we think that we're not good enough. We think that no matter how good we are, that we have to be better than that, and we've got to be perfect all the time. And so there's a lot of work in actually being able to go, well, you know what? That's in the past. It actually isn't who I am. It's just a message that I have continued to hear. So now what I need to do is I need to change those messages in my head that I am worthy, that I do deserve whatever it is, whatever those goals are. Yeah, really, really good point. Love that point. Yeah, and I think, look, the other thing is that we hear about, setting goals, right? And so goals are like, I want to fit into size 8 clothes or size 12 clothes. I want to fit into my skinny jeans, or I want to lose 10 kilos, or I want to run a marathon, etc., etc. So, and look, they're all great goals, because they are actually something that you can physically work towards. So here's the thing about a goal, though. Always remember, it's something that you're working towards. It's not the end. It's not the end. Because when you get there, you want to then be looking at what's the next thing that you're going to do. Because as humans, we want to continually grow. We want to continually learn. When we stop doing that, we just stagnate and we stay as we are. And we want to bring joy and experience more of life. And we do that through that growth phase of who we are. So, yes, it's great to have that, let's not call it an end point, something we're working towards. But it's so much better if you have an action, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you want to give us some examples of what actions might look like?
Let's take, for example, if you're losing weight, and take it from a starting point. So I've set my New Year's resolution. This is an example. I want to lose 30 kilos. That's your goal. That's what you're going to lose. That's what you want to lose.
Right.
Now we're going to step down and take it right back to the beginning. How are we going to do that? What's our action step? So our first action step is, what am I going to do today? What is my goal today? What action am I going to do today? It could be, if you've never walked before, I'm going to go for my 20-minute walk or a 10-minute walk. My action goal today also is, I'm going to drink, if I'm not a regular water drinker, today I'm going to drink a litre of water. That's only 4 glasses of water. So these are your little action steps that you're going to do today and then tomorrow.
Yeah, I love that. So they need to be small, manageable steps that you're taking. It could also be something as simple as, what I've been doing today. Every time I've got up to the bathroom, I've done 10 squat jumps, and then I've done 10 elevated push-ups. So every time I've gone to the bathroom, I've done that today. particularly if we're someone who's in a sitting environment, a sitting job all the time, or, we're retired and we're sitting all the time. We really want to get ourselves moving that little bit more. And that's all part of it. So what we want to look at is if it is that 30-kilo goal, it's like, well, number one, I need to look at what I'm eating. Number two, I need to look at how I'm sleeping. Number three, I need to look at how much stress I've got in my life. As you said, how much water am I drinking? And how much moving am I doing? And there's two different types of moving that we can do. So there's so many things. And when you start to look at it like that, it's overwhelming. And so that's where you just have to take that deep breath. And as you said, you pick that one thing. But the key to it is that you do it consistently. So if that one thing is, as you said, Sal, I'm going to drink 1 litre of water, you're going to do it today, tomorrow, the next day, 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 until it's just part of who you are. And then eventually what you'll find is your skin's going to be starting to look better. You're going to feel like you're more energized as well too, particularly if you were drinking less water, because water is great for giving you energy.
Yes. And it will help with that belly.
Oh, totally it will. Yeah, yeah. The other final thought that I wanted to bring in, Sal, is we're immediate action people. So we need to see something happening now. That's why we're not so patient. So we might have taken 10, 15 years. If you think about it, the weight gain that you had over your 3 children, how many years was that over?
22 years.
What's the difference?
Oh,
yeah, 22 years. No. What's the difference between Quinn and Olivia?
9 years. Oh, I don't know. 6 years. 7 years.
Simple math. And he is 20?
22. Well, 22 next year. 21, yeah.
22 minus 16, love.
Yes.
6.
The numbers everywhere.
Okay, so it's taken 6 years. It was all of those wonderful things that happened to your body. You had 3 babies, beautiful babies. Okay, yes. And so it's 6 years. And yet when we go, okay, I want to lose this weight, I'm ready to do it. It's like, I want that to come off right now. But it took 6 years to get there in the first place.
Yes. We've become a society, and it's interesting that you bring that point up, because I was thinking about this on the weekend. We've become a society of instant gratification.
Oh,
we need everything now.
Totally.
Everything now. If I don't answer my mobile, my kids are, texting me 27 times, you haven't answered your mobile. And it's like, well, I'm hanging washing out, I don't have a utility belt with my mobile in it walking around the house. But it's stuff like that. Everything has to happen right now.
Yeah. I get that. I know. I often hear that. You haven't answered your phone. Oh, my phone's in the kitchen, or my phone's down the other end of the house. I do happen to have it with me today, but it's not always here. It's generally somewhere else in the house. So.
Yeah.
And it's usually on silent.
Yeah. It is what we are, a society of we need instant gratification now. So it's what you said is perfect. We expect that weight to come off immediately.
Yeah. And the other thing about that is that even though we think it is just society now, that is just who we have always been. We always want that immediate gratification, whether it be 100 years ago or whether it's now. It's just that it's more obvious now because of the technology that we have available to us as well too. So
yeah.
Okay. Any final thoughts from you, Sal?
My final thoughts are, take the time. What are we? We've still got 3 weeks till New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So if you are planning on making a New Year's resolution, these next 3 weeks, take the time, sit down, write out what it is you want, Put that big goal up there. What do you want to achieve in 2021? And then start breaking it down into the smaller goals and the smaller action steps. And
I'm just disappearing. Ta-da!
here she is. Here she is. And that will help you. And then so when January 1st comes around, you're not just going, oh, today was my New Year's resolution. I'm not ready. Oh, I won't start today. I'll start tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you're just beside yourself. So take the next 3 weeks to write down what it is you want.
Yeah, it's mind dumping, which is what I've done here. So I've just written all the things in regards to it. And then what I've done is I've just sat and mulled over those things, and then I've come up with, here's the top 5 things. And then from there, it'll be just broken down into this is the one thing that I'm going to work on, and take that approach of being consistent with my approach to it. So yeah, totally. Great point. Love, love, love it. So look, the biggest reason that New Year's resolutions don't work is generally we have been drinking. And secondly, that we're not taking the time to think about them or to write them down. So when we do want to make something happen in our lives, when we do want to embrace some type of change, it requires us to spend some little bit of time actually in that reflection stage and thinking about what it is we want, why we want it, and how we're going to go about getting it, and what we can handle consistently in order to achieve it. It's got to be small. It's got to be manageable.
Yes. And sustainable.
Great topic, Sal. Totally. It's sustainable. Yeah, me too. All right. So before we started today, ladies, I pulled a little card out for you. And today's card is have courage. I should have the light on. Acknowledge your fears and do it anyway.
There you go.
Here we have it. Have courage, acknowledge your fears, and do it anyway. So a little bit of mind mapping. That's our challenge for you today. So let's get it super organized so that you are ready to hit 2021 nice and strong. Thanks for joining me, Sal.
Thank you for having me. As always, Peter, thank you for joining us, everybody out there.
Thanks, everybody. We shall see you all on Wednesday. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.